gorgeous ones, good morning. Good morning. I hope you're all happy, healthy and well. My screen's crooked. I'm just having a look. I'm sort of on an angle. There we go. I'll see if I can straighten it up a bit for you all. Wednesday morning here. I love Wednesdays for me because it's a day in my home office, and what I get to do in winter is I get to have my shower at lunchtime. So I love that. I just hop up, put on my snuggles, get in, get cracking, do some work, and by the time I need a break, it's about lunchtime, and that's when I can have my shower, which is then good because then I often do my filming or anything like that in the afternoon where maybe I need to have my hair perhaps just a little bit nicer than it is now. This morning, I'm talking to diabetes. So it is Diabetes Awareness Week. I know that a lot of you know about diabetes, but I want to, I guess, just remind you. Good morning, Jodes. There are 3 sorts of diabetes. Last night on the cooking show, I was talking about type 2 diabetes, and I will confess that I didn't reference it as being type 2, and I really should have, because type 2 is completely different to type 1, and the third type is gestational diabetes. So type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition, most commonly developed in childhood, but certainly can occur in adulthood, and it is known then as a LADA, latent adult onset or something like that. I've forgotten what the actual LADA stands for, but it's when people who are in their 30s or 40s developed type 1 diabetes. Good morning, gorgeous ones. So that is a completely different condition to type 2 diabetes. So the thing with type 1 is it attacks the pancreas. So in fact, it's an insulin deficiency problem. They don't have enough insulin, and then they get, and in this phase, it's called the honeymoon phase, the pancreas makes a little bit, but then it just dies off, and then there's no insulin, which is why they need exogenous. I kind of like saying that word, exogenous insulin. So that's outside of your body insulin. Now, interestingly, people with type 1 diabetes can develop insulin resistance, and there are plenty of people out there who have type 1 diabetes who will know what I'm talking about. And what happens is that over time they need more and more insulin to keep their blood sugar stable. So they certainly can develop insulin resistance, and there is a concept, it's not sort of an official language, of something called double diabetes, which is where, again, people with type 1 develop really severe insulin resistance and therefore end up with very similar issues as people with type 2. The heart of both of these, so type 2, it has a very long prodrome, and that's what I was talking about last night. That's the one where you have pre-diabetes and then it rolls on into diabetes, really just when you cross a threshold of a number. And that's that's for a lot of things. That's really to look at, why do we pick the number? Well, the number is where complications start to occur. But as I said to you last night, for a lot of people upon their diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, they already have complications. So in my mind, I actually think the number is set too high. I think it is better to be a bit you might call it stingier, but a bit stricter in the number, because you minimize the risk of complications later. And then the third type, gestational diabetes, is what Dr. Mary had. And people who have insulin resistance, polycystic ovarian syndrome, are more at risk of gestational diabetes. But at its heart, gestational diabetes is a condition caused by the placenta. And it's different in different people, to do with your genetic risk. And the minute the placenta is removed, when the baby is born, the diabetes goes away. So it is clearly a placental problem, and there's a whole heap of sort of complicated physiological processes that go on to cause gestational diabetes with the placenta. And the people, not everyone who has gestational diabetes goes on to get type 2 diabetes, but they are certainly more at risk. And again, if we use Dr. Mary as an example, and I know she won't mind because she shared her story openly, Dr. Mary, family history of type 2 diabetes, insulin resistant for many years, polycystic ovarian syndrome, you know, you don't need a crystal ball to see that she is at high risk of gestational diabetes. Despite even having a low-carb lifestyle, she still developed it. So, you know, Dr. Mary's at high risk of developing type 2 diabetes in her adult life. And I already know that because she eats a low-carb lifestyle, she markedly reduces that risk and, you know, is managing her insulin resistance with low-carb lifestyle, just like me. So, my lovelies, that is a little summary of the 3 types of diabetes that we like to refer to: type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes. The thing, I guess, is that they're both increasing. Type 1 is increasing purely because autoimmune conditions over a whole are increasing. Again, family history. Preeclampsia related to gestational diabetes. No, they're separate conditions. They are separate conditions clearly related to pregnancy. And interestingly, and we're knowing a lot more, again, learning a lot more about preeclampsia as we get older, as time moves on. But preeclampsia is also completely resolved when the baby is born. Well, it's not completely resolved. It's resolved usually within 24 to 48 hours. But interestingly, women who have preeclampsia in pregnancy are at much higher risk of cardiac disease. So that's the link there. Preeclampsia, cardiac disease, gestational diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Uncontrolled type 2 diabetes, cardiac disease. So there's the little link there, Susan. So I guess the thing is that at the end of the day, you know, these are complicated conditions. Honestly, they really are. And we're learning more and more. And I love the idea that medicine is continuously evolving. And stuff that I learned when I was a medical student, you know, we don't teach anymore. There's stuff I learned as a medical student that I wish we did teach. But anyway, that's a different story. And as I said, some of the hormones that we know about, leptin, which I love to know, you know, I'm banging on about leptin all the time these days, that wasn't even discovered until the 1990s. Like, I finished medical school by then. I was a doctor, and suddenly some scientist has discovered leptin. So there will be other things along the way that we just continue to find. So if people think they know everything about the human body, I think they're probably wrong. But anyway, that's just me philosophizing. Lovelies, I am going to have an awesome day today. I'm in my study. It's tidy. I've got my essential oils going. I'm going to go and get a cup of tea. I've got quite a few things to do. It's a busy week coming up for us. Our member success manager, Erica, is having a holiday. So I'm doing Erica's job. Our marketing manager is sick. He'll be away for a significant amount of time. So currently I'm doing his job. And I'm doing my own job. But that's okay. That's business, isn't it? And I think Sandra Shaw is coming to stay with you, Susan. Oh my God. There we go. That is the power of connection. So, gorgeous ones. Susan, one of our long-standing Momentum members. Sandra, one of our long-standing Momentum members. They have been hooked up as accountability buddies at the very start. Share an accountability team, and here they are meeting in real life. That makes my heart sing. I'm so excited and so thrilled for you. And, you know, as you know, I really, truly think that connection and community is one of the keys to long-term sustainable change because, you know, low-carb party on the mountain, Alani, absolutely. I wish I'd known I might have come up. But anyway, that's okay. Lovelies, have a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. And, yep, again, this was more just a little informal chat about some educating. You don't need to do anything extra today, but just some beautiful education. And I will see you all tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day. Bye, darlings.